role players. I love role players. One of my favorite parts of the NBA postseason is watching role players sort of make a name for themselves, sort of go outside of the boundaries of where we think they are in terms of a player, right? Go above and beyond the Call of Duty and help propel their teams to deep postseason runs. And this season, we've seen tons of those guys when it comes to the Miami Heat, where guys are just stepping up every other game. The Lakers had plenty of guys step up to the plate every single game. The Nuggets, the super deep team where, you're getting huge contributions from role guys. So today I decided, let's talk about the 5 role players who have wowed me so far this postseason, have helped their teams sort of go on these crazy runs or help them extend series or put themselves in a position where they can win a series. Let's start with, in my opinion, in terms of role players, the biggest Cinderella story, I guess, so far this postseason, and that is, of course, Caleb Martin, who I liked as a player. I thought Caleb Martin was having a really good, strong season with Miami. I thought that was a great, sneaky get for them in the offseason. I did not expect what we're seeing. This is just some more blood magic wizardry happening in Miami, witnessing what Caleb Martin has been doing so far this postseason. For a lot of these guys, I'm going to look at their regular season average and compare them to their postseason averages because that tells us a lot. Caleb Martin, 9.6 points per game in the regular season, 13 points per game so far this postseason. 35% from 3 in the regular season, 41% from 3 in the postseason. A 57% true shooting percentage in the regular season, which is about average. 70% in the postseason, which is way above average. He's been a plus 98 over the entire course of the postseason, which is best among bench players, 5th best across all players in the NBA. He's been fantastic defensively, stuck, some of the other team's best guys. And so far in the Eastern Conference Finals, through the first 4 games, he's averaging 18.5 points per game on 63, 46, 100% shooting. Just absolutely insane. I think the craziest part to me for Caleb Martin is that when Jimmy's not on the floor, he's like the focal point of their offense. It's not just like, hey, Caleb, go sit in the corner and we'll throw a pass out to you and you're going to shoot a 3 or, run out in transition, we'll throw you a lob. He does all of that stuff. But it's also like he's initiating offense. He's taking guys off the dribble. He's attacking the paint and kicking out. Like he's doing stuff that I don't even know if Caleb Martin was aware that he was capable of. But this is just what the Miami Heat get out of their players. It's absolutely insane to watch. Caleb Martin has stepped up to the plate in a major way. There's no way. There is absolutely no way the Heat are where they're at right now without him. And if they had won that game last night and closed out the Celtics in 4, you could have made an argument for him to win the MVP. What is it? The Larry Bird Trophy for the Eastern Conference most valuable player in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like you could have made that argument. It would have been a crazy one, but you could have made it. It would have been similar to like saying Wiggins deserved it last year over Curry or Looney deserved it over Curry. We got to shout out the Nuggets. I mean, there's several guys that you could choose from for them. But I got to go with Bruce Brown. And I've always loved Bruce Brown. If you're a smaller guy and you're willing to step up to the plate and play small ball center, I will always respect you. Of course, that's what happened when Bruce Brown was with the Nets. He's like 6'5", but he stepped up to the plate and was willing to do it. I will always have respect for you if you do that. But I absolutely love what he's done this postseason. He's actually seen his minutes per game go down ever so slightly so far to start the playoffs. But his points per game average has gone up, 11.5 in the regular season, 12 points per game in the postseason, 48% from the field in the regular season, 53% in the postseason, 57% true shooting, regular season, 62% true shooting, postseason. And the Nuggets have a 110 defensive rating whenever he is on the floor, which would be, I think, the 3rd best defense this postseason, that's always been the thing with the Nuggets. Can they be good enough defensively? We all know how great they are offensively, but what about their defense? When Bruce Brown is out there, their defense has been very, very good. And Bruce Brown has done a very, very good job against whoever he's been asked to guard. The Nuggets have a +9 net rating when he's on the court. He just, he can shoot threes, he can attack, he's a good passer. And again, he's a very switchable defender and willing to guard other teams' best players, willing to guard guys much bigger than he is, willing to guard guys who are smaller than he is. I love what Bruce Brown brings to the table. Every player needs somebody, every team needs a guy like Bruce Brown who brings the toughness. We have that, like relentlessly shit-talking other players. Like he shit-talked D'Angelo Russell so badly, I think he almost took him out of the series. Like D'Angelo Russell was clearly in his own head at times, it felt like, and I wonder how much of an impact Bruce Brown had on that. He was also talking a relentless amount of shit in that Sun series. And again, you need a guy like that. You need a dog. You need somebody who's going to step up to the plate and talk shit. Somebody's got to do it. I mentioned the Lakers earlier, and it felt like every single game they had another guy who was stepping up, right? LeBron was very good this postseason, but it was clear he wasn't the LeBron of old. He couldn't just put a team on his back and say, hey, we're going to the finals. I don't care what you guys are doing. I'm getting us there. AD was not the offensive force they needed. But it seems like they always had at least one guy step up to the plate. And for them, I'm giving a shout out to Dennis Schroeder, who offensively wasn't the greatest this postseason. He definitely had his moments. But I got to give a shout out to how well I thought he played defensively, especially in that series against the Warriors, how good of a job he did against Steph Curry. Now, keep in mind, like, these matchup numbers can be very, very weird and wonky. But according to the NBA.com's matchup numbers, Curry went 13 of 31 when guarded by Dennis Schroeder and 2 of 14 from 3. He did a great job of hounding him, a great job harassing him. Schroeder completely and totally locked him down in that Game 6 when the Lakers won to advance to the conference finals. He was phenomenal. He did a great job on Steph Curry, way better than I think anybody could have anticipated. We all thought Vanderbilt was going to get that, but it was clear after Game 1 that it was going to be Schroeder. Like, he had to be the guy who was going to stick and follow Steph Curry because he's probably their best guy getting around screens. He's one of their quicker players. He was plus 37 in the playoffs, 6th best among bench guys. Lakers were plus 5 when he was on the floor, minus 1.5 when he was off. A 108 defensive rating when on the court and a 114 when off of the court. So Dennis Schroeder, a big reason why the Lakers made it as far as they did. And he struggled a little bit defensively against Jamal Murray, but Jamal Murray was just hitting absurd shot after absurd shot. I don't know how much blame you could put on Dennis Schroeder there, but without his contributions, especially his contributions defensively, I do not think they make it past the Golden State Warriors. So shout out to Dennis Schroeder, and getting all of that for a minimum player. Hey, man, we got to talk about that. You could do this whole entire list about Heat players. That's like, you could do Gabe Vincent. If you want to consider Kyle Lowry a role player at this point in his career, you could do one about him, even though he's been god-awful in this series. Kevin Love has had moments where you're like, oh, my God, Kevin Love? What the hell's going on? What year is this? I got to give a special shout-out to Duncan Robinson. Okay, just because this guy was straight up not playing in games, and now he's like a huge contributor in this crazy run the Miami Heat are having. He had 4 games with 20-plus minutes since January 1st in the regular season. 4 games. Granted, I think he was dealing with an injury, and 2 of those 4 games were the final 2 games of the season when the Heat were already locked into the 7th seed. Really no reason for them to be playing too many guys. He's had 7 games with 20-plus minutes in the playoffs. So just stepping up to the plate, the Heat needed a guy. The Heat put him in the... Spoelstra decided it was time to play Duncan Robinson. And without him, I don't know if they beat the Bucks. Like, he was incredible in that series. He averaged 5 points per game after the All-Star break. He's averaging 8.5 in the playoffs. 32% from 3 over the course of the regular season for a guy paid to do nothing but shoot pretty much. 42% from 3 in the playoffs. That's what you're paying him money for. 53% true shooting in the regular season. 61 in the playoffs. And interestingly enough, his 3-point attempt rate is down. So I've seen moments, and there's been flashes where Duncan Robinson's like attacking the rim and like putting up crazy reverse finishes where you're just like, what the fuck has gotten into this Heat? What is going on in Miami? Something's not right. Somebody has been sacrificed. The Heat are plus 9.5 when he's on the floor, plus 1 when he's off. A 120 offensive rating when he's on. Just incredible stuff for a guy who, again, was just not playing, was out of the rotation entirely, like considered one of, if not maybe the worst contract in the entire NBA, a non-max contract in the NBA at least. And he just steps up in the playoffs and is doing this. Seriously, check your pets. If you live in the Miami area, check your pets, okay? They might be missing because there might have been a blood sacrifice. And the last guy I want to shout out here, eliminated in the first round. That feels like that was years ago. Whenever we get deep in the playoffs, first round series feel like they happen years upon years ago, even though it was only really a month ago. Just feels like so much has gone on since then, but I still want to give a shout out to a guy who did get eliminated round 1. That is Malik Monk for the Sacramento Kings. 19 points per game off the bench. That is still the best amongst anybody in the postseason. Saw a 7-minute per game increase in the postseason. Points per game up from 13.5 in the regular season to 19 in the playoffs. And he just had some huge moments, man. 32 points on 8 of 13 shooting in game 1. Remember that the Kings stole game 1 from the Warriors to go up 1-0. It's a great, happy time. He put up 13 points in the fourth quarter, just relentlessly attacking the paint. I think he shot 14, 15, 16, 17 free throws. It was some incredibly high number for Malik Monk, just relentlessly getting to the paint, attacking the rim. The Warriors really had no answer for what him and De'Aaron Fox were doing in game 1. And it was scary times. Like, I personally thought the Warriors would take care of business early in that series. And after game 1, I was like, holy shit, they might be in some trouble here the way Malik Monk is playing. 28 points in that Game 6 win on the road to force a Game 7 in Sacramento. 28 points, 17 in the second half. So he did have some stinkers in the series, but he had some huge, big moments, big games, big shots, big quarters, big halves that helped, the Kings have the Warriors on the ropes, the defending champion, Game 7 at home. Unfortunately, they couldn't finish the job. Sacramento couldn't, but Malik Monk was tremendous in this series. They were +6 when he was on the floor, -14 when he was off. -14. Offensive rating of 116 when he was on the floor. That dropped to 102 when he was off. What happened, Sabonis? Hey, I was told, hey, you finished 5th in MVP voting, Sabonis. How was that fucking possible? How was that possible, Sabonis? I'm asking. Genuinely. We could have done 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 role guys. That's how many guys have stepped up and been incredible so far this postseason. I really wanted to get one for the Celtics because they're one of the final 4 teams left, but I could not find one. Like, they've just been so up and down as a team. I like Brogdon, I guess, but he's really, he's left an icky taste in my mouth this postseason, this series. The Sixers, but like you could do 5 for the Heat. 5 for the Lakers, 5 for the Nuggets. That's how well these role guys have played so far this postseason. I love it. I've enjoyed it. I'm ready to see what else these guys have in store, these guys that are still playing at least. We just hit 9,000 subscribers on this channel. That's fun. That's exciting. 1,000 away from 10. I'm very much looking forward to that number. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys do so. It helps me out tremendously. Bye-bye.